It's Dan and Dago here. We're back for another edition of Whiskey Sour Wednesday. So grab a cold one, come sit with us. We don't like Whiskey Sour Wednesdays, and I'm still annoyed about the Chargers losing to the freaking Texans. The freaking Texans. The only thing they're fighting for is a higher draft pick. But I won't be negative to start the new year. What are we going to do? I'll leave the negativity to that Grinch over there. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the listeners for rocking with the Compas all year. We have another great episode with Fernando and Gilberto, breaking down the Chargers' debacle, defeat, embarrassment, I don't know, slaughter, whatever you want to say, in Houston. And the NFL, oh God, the playoff picture. We're like 9. The Compas say there's still hope for the Chargers, but we'll see. I don't want to say it. I don't want to put bad jujus out there just in case something positive happens. But right now, I feel a little bit like Hawkeye, looking at Black Widow and telling her, don't do this. Don't give me hope. They have to discuss with many intriguing Week 17 matchups. But as always, make sure you're subscribed to Compas on the Beat on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And don't forget to follow the Compas on the Beat on Instagram. Come on, they got some good stuff up there. Now, it's time to get to the best damn podcast in the universe. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. With me, as always, my co-host and tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, OC Register and LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I'm glad you have a bunch of energy after a Christmas weekend. Hopefully you watch all the movies you wanted to watch on Christmas. And I'm glad that we moved on from the holiday and now we're on to New Year's.
Bro, it's New Year's. I'm still gonna watch Jingle All the Way probably one more time.
Why? It's over. Like somebody told me Merry Christmas the day after Christmas, and I didn't like it. It bothered me.
Happy holidays. That's why I say Happy Holidays, because I got yelled at.
It's not about that. I don't care. It's just like it's over. Come on, like
I can bring out the Santa hat. I got it right there.
No, it's done. Move on. Same thing with New Year's. Don't tell me Happy New Year on January 2nd or 3rd. Okay,
bro.
Let's move on.
What if I see you? I'm gonna see you on January 2nd, and you know what I'm gonna say to you? Because I haven't seen you in 2022. I'm gonna say, fine. I'm gonna go, what's up, bro? Happy New Year's, bro.
If you know me, you haven't seen me yet on the New Year, you could say, fine.
Exactly. And guess who will be with me?
Oh,
your best friend.
No, and
you haven't seen him in a while. You haven't seen him in a while.
That's why I've been pretty happy lately, you know.
Oh, that's messed up.
I felt bad for him though last weekend. That was just a embarrassing moment for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, let's get into it for a little bit. Just man, and it's funny because last night, Dan and Dago and I, or Monday night, and my sister, we went over to some family friends. I mean, we see them honestly as siblings sometime, or we see them as siblings, but we went to go play like Uno, Sorry, like just board games and hang out and everything because we hadn't seen them on for Christmas or whatever. So we're watching it. And one of our friends says, Daniel, don't turn around. And he turns around and it's the Chargers highlights. And he's like, yeah, they would show Herbert throwing 2 picks. He's like, let's watch Tua now. And he's like, oh, the good passes. Why don't they show his pick? And I started laughing. But yeah, he was not happy. He hasn't been in a good mood. And I'm sorry to say, but I think Dan and Dago's given up. I think he said we're not going to beat the Broncos. We're going to lose to the Broncos and we're going to lose to the Raiders and that's it.
Wow.
And then I'm like, wow. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, no, it's not going to happen. He's like, he's like, I know this team. And then I was like, oh God. I'm like, and I told him, I'm like, yeah, but I know this team too. And I feel like they're going to end up like they could literally probably sweep these next 2 and then get themselves in the playoffs and then maybe make a little bit of noise. Yeah. And then he's like, no, but hold on. He's like, don't get my hopes up. He's like, this is not cheerful. This is not fun. I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, so he has not been jolly for the last few days.
This is like Dan and Dago's worst nightmare. The Dolphins have won 7 games in a row. They're in the playoff picture. Tua was in the playoffs right now, and Justin Herbert and Danny Diego outside. But I'm not here to be negative and kind of keep throwing punches at Dan. Like I think he's a little too premature and giving up. There's still hope, man, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna tell him why. But obviously, yeah, take care of business against the Broncos. You got to win your own games. But looking at that schedule, and I know you want to get into it too, Fernando, because the Dolphins have a tough 2 games left. The Ravens have a tough 2 games, so it's not over. And that's kind of the frustrating part is like, how many lives do the Chargers have? Like I was writing my story yesterday, and I'm thinking, remember when they were 6-5 when we all like, that's it, they're done, they're not gonna make the playoffs, and they beat the Bengals and they took care of business against the Giants. You're like, wow, maybe this team is different. And then even the game against the Chiefs, like, well, you know what? They're close to the Chiefs. Overtime, they're not that far off. And things change fast, and some things never change. Now the Chargers are out of the playoffs. The Chiefs won the division, and the sky is falling once again. But there's still hope, and I know it's very frustrating for a lot of Chargers fans, but just win the games, win the damn games, and see what else happens. And you can forget about the roller coaster, because it's kind of been what you and I kind of predicted, Fernando. We thought this team's going to be 10-7. We assume they're kind of average. They're going to have some up and downs. They're very top heavy. They lack roster depth, and everything that we've been saying, not to kind of give ourselves a pat on the back, has been happening. And it just kind of the roller coaster of emotions that's kind of been the surprising part. And especially losing to the Texans, man, that was just a bad taste, and that caught everybody off by surprise. But remember, Fernando, we were thinking when they were 6-5, all you need is 10 wins, and that's still a high possibility.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just the way that they've gotten there. I mean, I don't think they had lost to a team with like a big losing record like they did on Sunday. I mean, they lost to the Vikings, but the Vikings, like, you see them and they're formidable. Like they're they're a couple of bad losses away from being I think, no, they're not in the playoffs right now.
They're one game out right now.
Yeah, they're one game. Philly has the 7th spot. But it's just it's just one of those things where you're kind of like, dude, like, how much, like, you literally control. And that's the thing. They controlled their own destiny. They had a chance to really solidify. I mean, this weekend they should be thinking about maybe clinching a playoff spot. Now they have to fight for their lives and hope that other teams take care of business. I asked Brandon Staley yesterday about that, and he said, we're just going to take care of it. He used my name twice, so that's when I knew he didn't like my question. So he used my name twice, and he's like basically telling me that they just have to focus on the Los Angeles Chargers. They can't focus on anything else. But I basically asked him, I'm like, dude, you guys controlled your own destiny. And like, did you tell the team, hey, now we have to wish for other things to happen? He's like, no, we're going to take care of our own. We got to do this. We got to do that. He's like, we just got to go
a little bit, huh?
Huh?
He was a little ticked off yesterday. And
well,
Sunday.
I mean, dude, they just lost to the Jaguars. I'd be pissed too. So, or the Texans. So my bad. I just saw that the Jaguars have also requested to speak to Bucs defensive coordinator Todd Bowles as well with offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich obviously played quarterback for them for many years, but it's just one of those things, Gilbert, where you're like you've been in the playoff picture all season long. Like, you've been in. And when Brandon said, when you turn the calendar to December, those are the crucial months. Those are the months where you need to play your best football. You turn the calendar, you've played probably, I mean, no, not your worst football, but man, you just lost to the Texans. Like, it's bad, man. I mean, the defense just looks like it's in disarray when Derwin and Joey are. See, I guess that's my biggest problem, Gilbert, is that without Justin Jones, without Joey Bosa, and without Derwin James, this offense or this defense looks pedestrian. Like,
there's no hope.
They had it was crazy to watch them. And I mean, they're trying to mix in different things. They're trying to put Kenneth Murray at outside linebacker. It hurts. It's not, you have to, if you gave him a full off season, but just doing it halfway through the year and just because of need, it's hard to really play him there. And then you have other factors where you're like, okay, dude, like, you clearly see that some players just don't fit the scheme. They don't fit what they're doing. But I commend Brandon for putting a Band-Aid over it all season and really competing with this defense, because there are some players that are straight up like ballers on this team. Like, you have a future cornerback in Asante Samuel Jr. And I mean, heck, even if you go out and get yourself another corner in the draft, or you sign a corner, you can even kick Asante out into the slot, and he would be a good slot corner for you. But you have some building blocks. You have Asante, you have Justin Jones, you have Kaiser White. Obviously, you have Joey and Derwin. Drew Tranquil's been good, but then that's when you really turn and look and you go, oh, like Linval Joseph's going to be a free agent after this year. And Linval's been a very good defensive tackle for them, but he's 33. Maybe you bring him back for another year. Another one that I kind of have been a little bit impressed with is Braden Fayoko. I mean, I know he plays limited snaps, but I wish the Chargers would give him a little bit more just to see if he can do a little bit more. But obviously they're not going to cut it's plain and simple. They're not going to cut the snaps of Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery is a former first-round pick. They're not going to do it. They're going to go right and die with Jerry Tillery. And I mean, right now they're sinking with it. And I'm being honest, like, dude, there's times where I see him and I'm like he's good he's good at pass rushing, or he's formidable, but against the run, they wreck it. Like, you remember in The Blind Side where Michael Orr, and have you watched that movie or no?
Of course. Sandra Bullock.
Well, yeah, exactly. Where Michael Orr is grabs the defensive lineman and just takes him all the way to the into the end zone and like grabs him and throws him over the bar. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "What were you doing, Michael?" He's like, "It was time for him to go home." Bro, that's literally what it's like to watch Jerry Tillery against the run. I mean, and it's plain. It's just me being honest.
No, I agree with you, Fernando. But one thing I just want to see. I'm tired of the kind of they're playing well, they're doing well. Like, it's now or never now. Like, this is a playoff game, and if Jerry Taylor's not producing, who cares about his future and his upside? Play the best guy of the week and play him to win the game. It's Braden Falco, put him out there and win the freaking game. And
same thing with Kenneth Murray.
If you can't cut it, put somebody else and get somebody else to try. Like, I know these guys are first round picks, but worry about the future later because you need a game to win on Sunday. So I get what you're saying, Fernando. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just kind of
no. I can no. You're basically. I'm kind of sugarcoating it, and you're basically coming out straight up and telling me
no more of this. No more of like waiting for the future and the flashes. Like, it's week 17. Like, enough is enough. Just play the guys who are going to win, because what you're doing and trying to give the guys the best opportunities. I know they're very limited. But last week the Texans wanted it more. They had a weaker roster and they had more players on the COVID list. They didn't have Brandon Cooks out there, but they just wanted it more, and that's what you need for the next two games. Guys who want to play out there, and it's up to Brandon to figure that out.
What's funny is that, do you remember a couple of years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. I asked Melvin Ingram when they had lost to Minnesota. Remember they got blown out by Minnesota at the StubHub?
7 turnovers.
Yeah, and I remember I asked Melvin Ingram about it. And he said, if you're not willing to fight, there's no reason for you to be in this locker room. He's like, these games are going to determine who wants to be here and who doesn't. So I honestly think Brandon is one of those coaches that is going to take a look around and say, these guys are still doing
this. I got to see it first, man. I got to see it on Sunday. Like, if Jerry Taylor's out there playing the full snaps, I don't know, man.
No. What I'm saying is after the season. Like, after the season, he's going to take a look and be like, who were the guys that really did not step up when we needed them most? And I feel like he's one of those guys that will potentially later do something about it. But right now, man,
you can't do later right now.
I know. And that's the problem, is that they're kind of waiting and they're like, okay, we got to use our guys. That guy's not your best guy. Like, it's just plain and simple. And I mean, honestly, Christian Covington was also getting pushed around also.
He's another one that keeps saying it has been decent. I just don't see it either.
I know. No, neither have I. So that's what I'm wondering, because like Gaziano, I've seen him do stuff. I've seen other guys do things, but
he wasn't available, so you can't really use that one. He was on the COVID.
No, my bad. Yeah, he was unavailable. But I mean, you didn't even use Forrest Merrill. You didn't really use Andrew Brown. Like, why not use these guys and just see what?
Right.
Man, that Steelers game showed, and I'm not saying that one game doesn't mean everything, but that Steelers game, you had a healthy rotation, moving guys in and out, and you saw exactly what happened. The guys were getting pushed, they were getting pressure, they were doing a lot of good things. But I mean, it's just it's just interesting to see the way that this team is kind of right now still using guys that you're kind of like, oh, like, why are you still using them? And I mean, the thing is, and why are we harping on the defense? Because the defense is where they're using these guys. On the offense, they basically need everybody that they're playing. The only thing that I would say is that I would be interested to see Jason Moore.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I would like to see him with Keenan and Mike and some of I mean, obviously Mike's not going to play this weekend, but I'd be interested to see him play as that third, fourth receiver. I think it'd be really interesting to watch him play again.
I don't know if is Jason Moore a fast guy? I felt like they were missing the deep shots, and I know
Yeah.
Jalen Guyton doesn't produce enough as we want him to, but he at least goes
Yeah.
deep. Is that what was that was hurting
I
them
think
on
that's what
Sunday?
they were missing somebody that could take the top off and kind of worry I mean, if you notice, the defense from what I was watching, they were playing intermediate. They knew
Yeah,
Keenan Allen's a slant out route kind of
double
guy.
teamed them.
Yeah, exactly. They know that Josh Palmer's exactly the same way. They know that and the one deep shot that they took was intercepted. So the Texans were feeling themselves. I was surprised the Chargers didn't go back to the deep shot at all because I thought maybe another deep shot would work, but they didn't go back to it at all. So that's kind of been my thing. Like, why didn't you try different things on offense? And I mean, honestly, going back to us criticizing the defense, we've criticized the offense a plenty this year. Like Storm Norton, Michael Schofield, we've Jared Cook, Jalen Guyton, like we've criticized fairly. So
Do
it's
one
not just
thing.
one side.
One thing on the offensive line, if you don't have the trio of
Yeah,
Filer and Slater and Corey together, you're gonna lose, and that's what the
yeah.
factors are showing. When Corey was out last week, they lost. When Filer was out against Denver, they lost. When Slater was out against the Chiefs, they lost. So that shows you how thin they are on the offensive line. And I'm not gonna say the offensive line was a whole entire issue of the game, but like maybe that kind of leads to like lack of protection. I mean, you don't have enough time to throw downfield. That's part of it. You have more quick throws, and you're running the ball, and you're throwing it to Justin Jackson out of the backfield, and that's part of it too. Things we don't kind of see on the regular. But Fernando, I want to go back to the defense real quick and kind of add to some of your points, man, because I'll give credit to the Chargers for not saying the excuse about the COVID thing, because they're missing
Yeah.
a lot of their guys on defense, like you mentioned, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Michael Davis, Joey Bosa, Justin. I'm forgetting the names, whatever. It's like half the starters.
What?
Yeah, what I get it. But the Texans were missing their players too, man, and they were
Oh
like
yeah.
dead. They were dead last and running the football. They're almost dead last and scoring points. They were averaging 14 points per game, and they dropped 24 points in the fourth quarter on you. Like, I know one of them was a pick six, so maybe I shouldn't count that one, but it was still a 34 points total. So it's just the thing is, we're trying to like see the circumstances, because it's just tough though, because if you're Asante Samuel Jr., like I asked Asante yesterday, you're a rookie coming off a concussion and missing the last 4 games, and you're having to be the leader out there to help out guys like Devontae Harris, who just signed 2 weeks ago. You're helping out Bassie, I forget his first name. He's saying Bassie, who just came to the team a week ago. You're the
Sounds like a
leader, and
Pokemon name.
yeah, and then Alohi Gilman, who hasn't played the last 5 games, is starting for Derwin James. Like, that is a tough situation, and I'm glad the Chargers didn't use it as an excuse. I get it. The one thing that I noticed Brandon Staley was like, we didn't overlook anybody. Like, he was just pretty pissed off about that, just that
Yeah.
possibility. But when it came to the whole thing about the secondary struggles, he couldn't be as emphatic, because it did matter. COVID did decimate the secondary. But then you think about the whole body of work. This defense, this secondary has struggled even with Derwin James and Joey Bosa. Like, there hasn't been enough upside. I've seen flashes. We've seen the flashes, Fernando, in some games. But like you said, man, if there's no Joey Bosa, no Justin Jones, Derwin James, forget about it. You have no chance. You need those 3 guys to at least contend. They make you work, because Justin Jones is a run stopper, Joey Bosa is your pressure, and Derwin James is your playmaker. None of that happened against the Texans. So, but to me, where I want to focus on, and I think we were giving Staley a lot of credit, and we are being patient, because I
It's
didn't like
year
the whole
one.
thing about him being a mastermind defensive guru, because it's not Aaron Donald over here. He's not here plugging up your gaps and helping out the run defense. It's a different situation. You're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That takes time. Guys are younger. But now we're in week 16. You're in the middle of the playoffs, and you just had to show some adjustments. You had to show your players are fighting, and it was just a bad look. And I'm not gonna just say, oh, I'm losing patience on Brandon Staley, but it was just a really, really bad game for this defense. And it just reminds you that the whole year there hasn't been enough steps forward, or maybe there has been some step forward, and then like you mentioned, Fernando, 3 steps back, 4 steps back, and it's about to be the new year. You're not a rookie head coach anymore. It's just like these next 2 games, man. Staley, what are you gonna do with this team? And I just want to see it. especially defensively, because there's been a lot of good stuff on offense. Justin Herbert got better. There was no regression there. Kudos to the coaching staff for helping Justin Herbert. It looks like Palmer could be a guy in the future. Obviously, you did great things with Slater. You made it like you got a veteran, Corey Lindsey, and he got better coming to your team. So there's been a lot of good stuff that this coaches have us done, but the defense has been a problem, and it just makes you wonder like what's going on there. And Brandon has done a kind of good job of being in 3 places at once, but let's get the defense better. And enough is enough with the excuses. And I think he would totally agree with that because he was pretty ticked off, and he's a competitor as well.
I'm going to be completely honest.
Do it.
I think the Chargers defensive players have bad habits. And I think those bad habits have been hard for Staley to help have them shake it off. Like you saw Alohi Gilman on Sunday, and I know he's been out for a couple of games, but he missed like I think 3 or 4 tackles. Like,
yeah.
And the way they go up to try and tackle, I was kind of like, dude, what's up? Like, and I see so many bad habits with the Chargers defense, and it's habits that I saw with Gus Bradley. It's habits that I've seen, for years, and I feel like it's like, if anything, the Rams defense was disciplined because they had Wade Phillips. Then they go to Brandon Staley. So I mean, they were disciplined in that sense. But with I don't know. I'm wondering if and that's why I asked him, do you feel like you have enough depth? And he said, because it looked like it got tested, and obviously Brandon's going to say yes, like we have good players. Man, they've been having to get cornerbacks from the Broncos. I think they've gotten 3 or 4 defensive backs from the Broncos. They've gotten
Bassie, Harris, and Trey Marshall.
Yeah.
But Devontae Harris came from the 49ers practice squad, but he played for the Broncos under Staley and Ronaldo.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing. They have so many undisciplined players that, I don't know, it makes you question a lot of, can Brandon Staley help these guys? Because, like, to me, like, people think that Nas has played really well this year. Well, when Derwin's not in there, Nas hasn't played well.
Yeah.
He's undisciplined when he isn't there. Nas has dropped potential. And I mean, we've joked about this because Gilbert went on TV and said that Nas would have 10 interceptions. Gilbert wasn't far off. Nas has probably dropped 7 interceptions this year. No, he's dropped a lot of games. Like exactly. So like every player on this team, not named Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and I mean Justin Jones here and there, and Linval Joseph, obviously, and Kaiser White, but like everybody else is kind of undisciplined in a sense. Like Michael Davis is still doing stuff that I remember in 2017 when he was an undrafted rookie, and I saw him at training camp. He's doing the same stuff that he was doing back then. And I don't know. I mean, and people can say whatever they want. They think that he deserves a contract. I didn't think so. I haven't seen that growth, I guess, but I'm not a coach. But I just haven't seen that growth from him. I haven't seen it from Uchenna Nwosu. Uchenna only has 3 sacks. And the thing is,
that was this game, man. You got to do something against the Texans.
This weekend, I thought, okay, against backup tackles, because the Texans were missing 8 starters on defense, 3 starters on the offensive line. Plus, they didn't have their left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, who's been out since like week.
That was the game, Fernando. They couldn't get any pressure.
None. And you thought maybe Kenneth Murray will be able to do something. No, like they weren't able to get any pressure with anybody. The only one that was probably doing it was Emike. Emike was probably the one getting the most, but it's just one of those things.
He's on the COVID list now, by the way.
I know. And so like now you're looking at it and I keep on harping on this, but the offseason's coming and there's contracts that these guys are going to have to look at and be like, do we want to re-sign this guy? Do we want to bring him back? Is he really a cornerstone? I mean, Brandon and his staff can say whatever they want about Uchenna, about Jerry, about Kenneth, about all these guys, but we have eyes too. Like, and you can't tell me that, like, you can't, okay, I mean, they can tell us all they want, but we have eyes. We see it. There's plays where I dedicate watching number 9, or I do it with 99, or I do it with some of these players that I have questions on. I watch them for about 5 or 6 plays, like we were told to do. And I watch and I'm like, no, dude, like it's just, and yeah, Jerry Tillery had a great sack on Sunday, but what did that really materialize to? They couldn't get any pressure on Davis Mills. I wrote on my grades the other day. I gave the secondary an F-. Why? Because they made Davis Mills look like Dan Marino. Like the dude was literally slinging it left and right.
He's not that bad though. I feel like we're kind of making him a lot of fun.
No, and I'm not trying to make fun of him, but I honestly think the Texans might have something. I mean, can you imagine? Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, and now Davis Mills.
For
I
our
mean,
Pep Hamilton.
for Tyrod, no,
Oh,
for
Tyrod.
Taylor.
No,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
just gonna say Pep Hamilton's doing a
Oh
good
no,
job
no,
with
no,
Davis.
and Pep deserves a lot of credit, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen him. He's the OC for them, right?
Quarterbacks coach.
Quarterback. Yeah, he should at least be an OC. If not, I mean, I don't know if head coach. I mean,
No, but he
he's
deserves another
okay, but
opportunity to be an OC at
yeah,
least.
yeah. But
Uh,
and he had one stint. I think it was with the Colts, and I mean, it was just a
it didn't go
bad.
so well.
Yeah, it was just a bad thing. But that's what I'm saying is like, dude, this is like literally live or die Sunday and this Sunday and next Sunday. I would make some changes. I mean, because if it was working like the way it's been working for the Chiefs or the way it's been working for these teams that have gone on long win streaks, I get it. Okay, keep on going, but it's not working. So I mean, if I was this coaching staff, I would literally be Jeff Hardy on top of a Hell in the Cell. Throw caution into the wind, say F it, and just throw yourself off. Try and win with a healthy rotation. Try and give guys breaks. And I'm telling you, I don't know if Drew Tranquil's going to play this weekend or not. If you don't have Drew Tranquil, it's going to be Kenneth Murray. That's going to, I don't know. I don't know. It's just rough.
But I think Kenneth Murray does better, at least at linebacker, than he does edge rusher.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Kenneth Murray's best game was last year when he got blown out 45-0. No, and I'm not trying to be. I know. I'm just saying, like,
you're right, and it's kind of not a good thing for a first round pick that you trade up for,
So I mean, it's just one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, dude, like you lost 41-29 to the probably one of the worst teams in the NFL, and it's funny because Dan kept on saying it. Why are you not trying to fight for a higher draft pick? And they don't care about that. They want to see what this kid has, and that's what Brandon said. He's like, they want to see what they have in this kid, and he thought that Davis Mills has a bright future. So, man, I'm telling you right now, there's a dark cloud over this team, and it's can they get rid of it this weekend against Denver? It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
but
before we go on the playoff picture real quick and the other teams, I just wanted to mention. Yeah, like we were saying, this game you gotta do some changes. You gotta mix it up, but like how you keep saying, Fernando, for the future, I'm starting to kind of look in the future now because it's looking like that right now. And we've got to say it when it comes down to it at the end of the year, it has to be in the middle. The GM Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley have to meet in the middle. Who are the players you want to see here, and who's gonna fit? And maybe it's a good sign that Tom is saying, hey, which guys did you coach in Denver? You want those guys, bring them over, then fine. Like maybe that's kind of like a something that he was kind of giving him. You play Jerry Taylor, you play Kenneth Murray, we'll get some of your former Denver guys to come over here. Maybe that's kind of some me in the middle, but you need more from Tom Tedesco and Brandon Staley. So I'm hoping when the season's over and those guys are together, you really sit down and say who is meant to fit this defense, because it's broken and nothing is not much. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm getting carried away. Not much is working right now. So what can we do together, be on the same page, and fit the guys that you want on your system and make it work? So I'm just saying that if we get to that crossroads, but Fernando, I'm ready to talk about the playoff picture.
If you miss the playoffs, there has to be questions that come up about certain individuals within the organization. There's no way you should miss the playoffs, especially with this young kid at quarterback. This gunslinger should be in the playoffs every single year. And I know it took,
you're just reminding me, you're gonna hear the whole, well, Justin Herbert's on a rookie contract and you're wasting his years.
Exactly.
You're gonna hear that all offseason.
I know, and that's the problem. If they miss the playoffs,
2 years,
you have to start questioning a lot of what you're doing. You haven't made the playoffs, or you haven't won the division since LT was still donning a Chargers jersey.
Yeah.
You've gone to the playoffs twice since 2013 with what should be, I mean, at times they had a good roster. They had better teams. They had situations where they could have done it. And it's funny because since 2013, I think they've lacked depth every single. I mean, this team I think has always been top heavy since 2013. Man, I'm telling you, the 2000s Chargers, the 2004 to 2009, that had depth. They had guys behind guys. They had all these different, like they had some good players behind the starters that could, when the starters would go out, oh, hey, here come the backups. boom, they would still get pressure. They would still be able to do a lot of good things. And I think that's really what's lacking with this Chargers team. So I'm just saying, if they miss the playoffs, there's questions that need to start being asked about the future of this franchise. And if I'm sorry, if you're serious about making it into the Super Bowl with this young gun. I mean, I don't know. I'm just
let's move on for the next transition, and let's just say things can change really fast because look at the schedule, Fernando. I'm gonna be so mad when we're changing the narrative next week that the Ravens are playing the Rams. The Rams are playing for a division. The kind of the crappy part for Chargers fans, they have to root for the crosstown rival LA Rams to beat the Ravens, which is really highly possible. And then your favorite one, the Dolphins are finally going to play somebody with a pulse. The Dolphins are going to play the Tennessee Titans and former quarterback Ryan Tannehill, and they're fighting for the number 1 seed in the division, I think, or they already clinched the division, I forget. But they're fighting for a lot too. So if the Titans beat the Dolphins, the Rams beat the Ravens, and the Chargers beat the Broncos, they're back in the playoff picture, Fernando. Like, this could change quickly.
You know what? Let's go. Before we go to the playoff picture, let's look at week 17 real fast. This week is going to be nuts. Man, who would have thought a couple of weeks ago when Buffalo lost that they would be back in it? And now look at them. They
got destroyed in the run game, and now they're back in the first place in the division.
I know. Gilbert, if you want to go watch Atlanta and Buffalo, $12. Look at all these ticket prices. Let me guess which one's the most expensive. Oh, no. $57 to go watch the Broncos and the Chargers. That's actually not bad. All right. So, obviously, okay, cool. You take a look at that schedule. Oh, you know what? Let me move.
Dude, the Bills are going to beat the Falcons, so that's already over with.
Okay, so with that, I think they clinch
the division
or a playoff spot. I can't remember, but man, isn't it? Well, whatever. We'll talk about that in a second.
The Patriots are going to beat the Jaguars, so that's another win for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's going to come down to the last week of the season because they have the same. But you know who Buffalo plays next week?
Who?
They play the Jets.
Well, they've already won the division.
Yeah,
it's over.
Okay.
And the Patriots already clinched a spot by playing the Jaguars. They're good.
Obviously, playoff implications right here. Gilbert, I want to get to SoFi early. I want to watch Kansas City and Cincinnati. Like, that to me is going to be a killer game. And the reason why there's stuff on it is because Kansas City's still fighting for that first place spot. Man, they have Tennessee breathing down their neck. And remember, Tennessee beat them a couple of weeks ago.
Is that at the same time as Dolphins, Tennessee? It is, huh? 10 a.m.
It is.
Okay, so it won't be kind of like, oh, the game doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, no, it matters. It matters. So if Cincinnati beats Kansas City, which is possible, Gilbert, because remember, yes, Kansas City has beaten some of these teams, but remember what happened when they played a high-powered offense like the Chargers. They struggled at times. The defense struggled at times. And this weekend, you're getting Joe Burrow coming fresh off a 525-yard game, plus throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I forget, but he had 525 yards. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, he's nuts. So definitely, I'm. You know what's funny?
What do you have?
And so for these like clowns that come out and say, "Oh, Joe, Tua and Herbert," why aren't you looking at Joe Burrow too? I mean, do they think that Joe Burrow is just way too ahead of Tua? But the fact that they compare Justin and Tua is.
Think about it. It was the way they're ordering the draft. Like the Dolphins pass on Justin Herbert. That's why.
Well, but I mean, for certain people to want to like say sorry to him and be like, "Oh, well, look at Tua, dude. That dude hasn't played. Like they haven't played anybody. Like this weekend against Tennessee, they could be in for."
Well, let's get into it. First, give me your pick on that game. Right. I'm curious.
I'm gonna say Cincinnati beats Kansas City.
Ooh, I'm going KC. They keep rolling, man.
Okay. Well, they always have a hiccup towards the end of the season. Huh? I'm gonna go Cincinnati and Tennessee win.
I'm going okay, KC. I'm going Tennessee over the Dolphins. But let's get into the Dolphins. I want to hear some Dolphins talk.
No, because okay. This is the frustrating part.
You're fired up.
Yeah, and this is frustrating for me.
Then I'll tell you why I don't really care that much, because I'll just tell you right now you're looking. Because the Dolphins are I know what you're going to say. The Dolphins are at least taking care of business, and that's why you could ask for it sometimes. And they're just beating the teams in front of them, and I respect that. That's not a problem to me.
No. The problem to me is that, dude, come on. Like, okay, they got the crap beat out of them by the Buffalo Bills in week 2, 35-0. But that was Brissett because I remember Tua got hurt in that New England game. So okay, let's go to the
Go with the
next one.
win
They lose
streak.
to the
Let's care about what recently happened. Let's go about that.
okay versus Houston. They were playing. I think who were they playing? Oh, who cares? Oh, and that
The
wasn't
team that
even
beat the
Tua.
Chargers, by the way.
That wasn't even Tua. It was Jacoby. So obviously, okay. So they look at there. They lost to the Jaguars and Urban Meyer. Wow.
Ugh.
They lost to Atlanta. Wow.
Oof.
They got beat up by Buffalo. Okay, now let's go to this. They barely beat Houston 17-9. That Baltimore game, that was all because of
Lamar was just thinking.
Yeah, he was out of it. They beat the Giants or the Jets. Congrats. They beat Carolina. They beat the Giants. They beat the Jets again, and then they beat New Orleans. Ian Book. Let's see. That's probably Danny Dimes. Cam Newton's return. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the only thing I give them credit for, they flustered Lamar Jackson. That should be a quality win, but the rest is just.
But that's their defense is like their defense is suffocating.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You don't. Okay, so is your beef more with the Tua hype or your
my
beef?
It's not beef. It's just that to say that like, oh my God, Justin is so much better, or look at Tua, he has all these wins, he has all this stuff. Yeah, but his defense is elite. Like they've spent a good amount of money on that defense. They have some great pass rushers. They've done some really good stuff with that defense. And just to say, oh, it's Tua, like, come on, get out of here. Like, I haven't seen a game yet where Tua has won them a game. I'll say it like that. Like, I have not seen a game where I can say Tua Tagovailoa won them this game. There's games where I've said, oh, Justin Herbert won them this game.
This is where the argument should end. I feel like people are just forcing it. And it's coming mostly from Dolphins fans. And they're forcing because, man, like for the next 10, 15 years, we got to hear that the Dolphins pass on Justin Herbert. So they're just kind of looking at everything to make it seem like, okay, it wasn't so bad. And I get it from Dolphins' point of view. But there's like you mentioned, there's no debate about Joe Burrow because we all know Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are on the same level. And you could disagree about who's better there. And I'll just say it. Justin Herbert's a little better because I like the physical tools. But, man, Joe Burrow's a cerebral assassin, like Triple H, by the way.
And he has a swag.
Yeah, he has a swag. He can make it work. So Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are on the same, or at least in the same category. Tua is not, but I think people are just trying to push the whole wins narrative because they passed on Justin Herbert. They passed.
Did Justin Herbert last year get benched for Tyrod Taylor to come in and help them win games?
Justin Herbert broke all the records as a rookie, pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and he's the Pro Bowl starter now because
Justin never got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like that's the thing. That's the problem is that I understand they want to hype up Tua, but I mean I get people like I remember I tweeted out that Justin had thrown a pick or whatever against Houston, and then this like Dolphins fans like, oh, Tua wouldn't have done like something dumb like that, like, oh, Tua wouldn't have thrown that. I'm like, yeah, he probably. Well, I'm not gonna get into what he would have thrown because Tua's a nice guy. Great guy and everything, but it's just there's no point of comparison. Like it's literally Joe Burrow and Justin are up at the top, and there's a fat little gap, and then it's Tua. Which I mean, and Tua's still gonna grow. I'm sure they're still gonna try and get him an offensive line, get him some weapons. But I mean, it takes a while, and especially for somebody like Tua, who people were trying to compare him to Drew Brees, but I thought Drew Brees had more of an arm. He had more arm strength. I remember when watching him, and I don't think Tua has that. He doesn't have that velocity on the ball. He kind of lets it hang a little bit, and that's why sometimes he throws these ill-advised interceptions. But it's just one of those things where I'm kind of like, dude, there's no point in comparison, especially like you don't want to live your life comparing yourself to other people. Because I mean, I remember growing up, I got compared to certain cousins or stuff like that. Like, why don't you be more like him? Why do I want to be like him? Like, what does that matter? I'm me. I'm myself. Like I don't want to hear, oh, be more like them, be more like that. And that's the thing is I remember my mom never did that to us. It wasn't my mom, but because my mom's like, I grew up getting told, oh, why don't you be more like her? And my mom's like, I don't like that, so I'm never gonna do it to you guys. So I mean, I hate like what kid wants to hear, why don't you be more like them? Like, no,
well,
I'm my own person.
That's what Tua kind of heard for a long time with the Deshaun Watson rumors and that kind of just tells you alone that the Dolphins weren't even convinced by themselves that Tua was.
And I still don't think they're convinced.
Maybe not, but I'll give credit to Tua because he blocked out the noise and he got this winning streak started. You still have to be part of the winning streak. He's doing his
No,
thing.
no, yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
managing the game, but it's like you look at the Tennessee Titans. Like Ryan Tannehill is a nice quarterback. He's good, but that team is all about Derrick Henry and the weapons he has. It's kind of the same
And
thing
he's
with the
okay with
Dolphins.
that.
Yeah, and it's okay, and he's gonna be a quality starter. I feel like for years to come, but it just won't be to the level of Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I feel like
Yeah.
it's okay to say that.
I mean, and let's be honest, like, and this is just my opinion, Philip Rivers was the better quarterback out of Eli and Ben Roethlisberger. But Eli and Ben Roethlisberger got it done, and they went to Super Bowls, and they won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So,
Or just who you want to be in that
yeah,
moment.
no, and so that's the thing is that like if you put Philip in Pittsburgh or you put Philip in New York, I think he does win Super Bowls with them, with those organizations. I mean, and the thing is that Philip wasn't that much of a turnover machine the way Eli and Ben were in the beginning of their careers. But I mean, Ben went into the correct situation for him. Eli went into the correct situation for him, and Philip was in the correct situation for him. But it didn't materialize because of obviously like what happened in 2006 when these guys get Tom Brady throws that interception. Marlon McCree doesn't decide to go down, and Troy Brown comes up, pops the ball out of his hands, all that stuff. But I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like it's just unfortunate. But yeah, it's fine to be the. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tua is the one that wins the rings, and Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are the ones that are the flashy quarterbacks. You just never know. And that's the thing is that I mean, it's unpredictable. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But let's go
Well,
back
I like
to
that it grinds your gears, Fernando. I really do.
no, it doesn't grind my gears. I'm fine. I just think it's dumb to try and compare quarterbacks when obviously one is freaking like looks like Zeus,
Yeah, no,
and like the dude
I
is
know.
like sturdy, like he doesn't get like he gets back up when he gets
But
hit and
it's
everything.
funny because people have short term memory, and like Joe Burrow throws for 525 yards, and even you hear some people say that Joe Burrow's better than Justin Herbert. When
Yeah,
for like 10 weeks in a row, we kept saying Justin Herbert's a better quarterback, and now we all flip. You know, it's just the way it is when you
yeah.
cover the NFL.
Okay, so you have Kansas City, I have Cincinnati. We both have Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay, here's another one. So breaking news, obviously the Compas are going to bring it to you. Well, you probably have already heard, but I don't care. Carson Wentz was put on the COVID list, so he will not play against the Las Vegas
Ooh,
Raiders. But I'm still going to
that's a
go,
break.
and it'll be Sam Ellinger from
Yeah.
hey, do you remember what he did a couple of years ago when
No, I
Texas
don't.
won their bowl game and he goes,
Oh,
"We're
get
back."
out of here. That's college.
I'm gonna go. I'm
Colts?
still gonna go Colts.
Wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Jonathan Taylor is gonna be too much for the. And remember, Denzel Perryman was put on the COVID list this week. Their top tackler, Casey
mm,
Hayward,
yeah, a
as
lot of
well, put on
guys.
the COVID list. So I think Jonathan Taylor might go crazy on that on that defense.
Yeah, I know the team is more on dependent on Jonathan Taylor, but just losing your Sam Ellinger, like I saw Ian Book yesterday, so I'm going the Raiders, and I'm gonna hate that this game's gonna be moved to Sunday Night Football. Raiders and Chargers, Week 18.
All right, let's see what else. What else? Philly at Washington. Gilbert, if Philly wins this game, they're playoff bound. Would you
Yeah,
have thought that when we watched the Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles play a
not
couple
at
of weeks
all.
ago?
Dude, I think I was talking to you a month ago. I'm like, who's like this is a kind of tough Chargers schedule. Who's the worst team that they face? And I'm like, oh, maybe Philly, and it's probably not even Philly anymore. So I
Yeah,
am very surprised.
yeah. No, Philly's playing good ball. It's funny because I saw. Obviously, I'm sort of connected to Eagles Twitter a little bit, just because of like friends that I have and everything. And I saw halfway through the game on Tuesday. It was Tuesday's game. Eagles fans were like, or no, it was Sunday. The Tuesday game was last week, but they were like, oh, let's put in Garner Minshew. Like, why are we not letting Minshew Mania go crazy? So I thought that was pretty funny. But I'm gonna go. I'll go Philly. I think Philly clinches a playoff spot, and they're back in the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I think they get it done. It's surprising that credit to Nick Sirianni, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Jalen
Credit to
Hurts has
him.
been, he's been up and down, but he's had his moments. Devontae Smith is like a baller. So they've gotten it done. Yeah, it's kind of not kind of like the Dolphins, a little ugly, but they've gotten it done.
Uh, so for this next one, Gilbert,
Los Angeles Rams at Baltimore Ravens. I think who was the guy with the purple hair on the Ravens? Varnett. No, that cornerback, Varnett. Whatever. He's a pretty good corner for them. I just can't remember his name right now, but he. I think they said that he's not going to play this weekend. So the Baltimore Ravens defense is hanging on by a
The
thread.
secondary wasn't good to begin with, so I don't know.
Yeah. So it's not looking good, and they're fresh off of getting torched by Joe Burrow. So now this weekend the Rams come into town. I'm taking the Rams. I don't think Baltimore's gonna be, even if Lamar Jackson comes back, I don't think they're gonna be able to hang with the Rams. I think the Rams defense is very good, and then obviously their offense is. I saw Matthew Stafford had thrown 3 picks against Minnesota last weekend. There were some terrible picks, but I still think they get it done and they win this weekend. So LA beats Baltimore.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty for the Rams, but they got it done. I think they had a punt return from a guy from the practice squad that went up. So
Yeah,
that helps when you get punt return touchdowns. Yep,
that should have been Michael Bandy.
Yeah, you should have given him a shot, Fernando. But yeah, the Rams take care of business against the Ravens, and I'm telling you, it's looking like it's going to set up nicely for the Chargers if they win.
Obviously, Chargers Broncos we will do later this week on the pod.
Wait on that one.
Next one, Arizona at Dallas. You're gonna ask me, why is this relevant? Because Dallas is or Arizona's fighting for to stay in the division and try and how do I want to say this? They're trying to stay in the division against the Rams. The Rams right now are leading the division, but Arizona needs to win this game to try and stay with them. Like I think they have the same record, but the Rams are just ahead. So I Dallas and Arizona, Gilbert, what you got?
The Cardinals don't look right, man. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins. They already clinched a playoff spot. Maybe they're okay with being a wild card team. I'll go Cowboys.
I'll go Cowboys as well. I just think that. Oh, you know what? I have to do this for the purposes of the first seed because if Tampa Bay loses, then the Cowboys become the first seed. If Dallas wins, Tampa at New York. I'm gonna go Tampa.
Come on.
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Well, I'm just making sure. So obviously, now let's take a look at the playoff picture. Man, this is no. So this is the way the AFC looks. So okay, so last night, what's his name? God, the bald Scott Van Pelt. He had the Raiders on top of the Chargers, but no, it's the Chargers on top of the Raiders.
I noticed that.
Okay, so obviously, if the Dolphins lose to the Titans, they drop to 8-8. Baltimore would drop to 8-8. The Chargers would drop to, if they won, they'd go up to 9-7, and they would have the 7th seed. Now, if the Chargers lost, they'd be at 8-8. Say that the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Chargers and the Raiders all lose. It's the same exact. I think it's the same exact.
Same thing
right here. So it'd stay the exact same, and obviously the Dolphins would need to lose to the Patriots. The Ravens would need to lose to the Steelers, and then the Chargers would have to beat the Raiders for the Chargers to be the 7th seed in Week 18. But Gilbert and I are not trying to get to Week 18 without the Chargers being in the damn in the dance, because obviously, like, it makes our job easier if we kind of know a little bit more. But Gilbert, what looking at this playoff picture, I mean, right now it would be Tennessee at home against the Dolphins, Cincinnati at home against the Patriots, and Buffalo or in Indy going to Buffalo. Which matchup of those 3 intrigues you the most?
I'm talking about for Week 18 already?
Huh?
For which week?
For no. For if the playoffs started today, it'd be Cincy at or Miami going to Cincy. No, Miami going to Tennessee, which would be a rematch of their Week 17. Patriots at Bengals, and then Indy at Buffalo.
It's kind of hard to even think about it, Fernando. There's so much going on. It's like pointless. But
can I tell you what I want?
I guess
I want the Chiefs to lose.
They're not gonna.
Tennessee goes to the 2nd seed, or Tennessee goes to the 1st seed. Kansas City gets a 2nd seed.
Oh,
The Chargers squeeze into that 7th seed.
You're asking a lot right there.
Can you imagine the wild card weekend? We get Chargers and Chiefs.
Yeah,
That game would be nuts.
It's possible. You know, the Bengals are a tough team, so you never know.
That game would be nuts. And honestly, I think I'm just doing it so we can go back to Q39, which obviously is very selfish of us, but we love Q39. But
that'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah, no, it'd be a fun matchup. But can you imagine? Like, I don't know. But so which matchup? Right now, the matchup that would intrigue me the most is the Colts and the Bills, because that's a rematch of last year.
Yeah.
And last year, Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman kind of had a coming out party in that game, and they both had strong games. But you know what? No, it's Cincy, New England. That's the one that intrigues me the most.
Yeah, Burrow against that defense. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, Burrow versus Mac Jones. That'd be a good matchup. But yeah, there's a lot of craziness, man, right now with these play. I mean, anything literally can happen this weekend. I'm telling you, Gilbert and I are going to be at SoFi. We're going to be watching the Jumbotron to see how these games are all going. But every time we do that, there's madness that happens. But let's just go real quick to the NFC. And so right now, Green Bay is the 1st seed. Oh, it's Green Bay. My bad. Dallas is the 2nd seed. The Rams are the 3rd seed. The Bucks are the 4th seed. And when's the tiebreaker over Los Angeles and Tampa based on best win percentage in conference games? Oh, they're 9-1 in the conference. Oh, Indy is discussing. Indy is discussing calling Phillip Rivers with Carson Wentz being on injured reserve.
Oh my God,
on COVID reserve.
Who said
Bro, The Athletic. Can you imagine?
How are you gonna get him ready for a week?
He's probably already ready. I'll tell you one thing though, it helps Phillip out for his Hall of Fame, because right now, if he retire, like this is his last year retiring, he'd go in at the same time as Drew Brees, and they're only going to choose one quarterback, so you back him up one more year, and he's the premier guy.
I kind of want to see it, man.
I want to see it so bad.
That'd be nuts.
So what happened? Okay, so what happens if Phillip goes nuts, bonkers in these two games, and they make the playoffs with Rivers playing really well?
Yeah. You keep the guy who's winning the games for you, I feel like.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
It's not like Carson Wentz is doing much for you. Like, he had a nice throw on, what was it, Saturday, I think, when they played each other? I forget.
My other question is, well, who cares? I was going to say, is Phillip vaccinated? But, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if...
you think I don't think he'll be a guy to be vaccinated, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, he's in Alabama.
It's all about faith, not science.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Leave the poor guy alone. Stop attacking people.
Just saying.
I gotta keep you from attacking. You're gonna get people to attack us. I don't know.
Have you noticed people who are more into like faith don't get vaccinated? I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
Carson Wentz is one of those guys. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, whatever. That's their faith.
I'm just saying. Phillip Rivers is probably not vaccinated.
All right. So right now the matchups would be Philly at Dallas. The Rams, the 49ers and the Rams. Tampa Bay and Arizona.
Divisional games here.
Yo, those two games interest me a lot. The Rams and the 49ers interest me a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of don't like the divisionals because I've seen it.
Well, there's not a lot of movement that can happen unless like the San Francisco 49ers drop one and Philly moves up one.
I just wish that DeAndre Hopkins would have been healthy. That would have been a good game for Buccaneers Cardinals.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think he's eligible to come back for the playoffs.
All right. Then I'll go with that one then, in case he's back.
Okay. That one. Oh, yeah. And then Mike Evans, I think, is on the COVID list, so he should be back for that. But you know what's funny is that these next few games kind of help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out, because it helps Tom Brady kind of get into rhythm again with Antonio Brown, with some of these other receivers, like what's the little Julian Edelman, Scotty Miller. Like, it helps him kind of get into rhythm with some of these guys, because they're not going to have Chris Godwin this year because obviously he tore his ACL, I think. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Tampa Bay does. But yeah, there's some intriguing matchups on both sides of the playoffs. That one game is interesting. Well, whatever. The Arizona, if Arizona can get DeAndre Hopkins back, I'm all about it. But the NFC, there's a Monday night game on the wild card, so that's going to be really interesting to see what game they choose that to be. I'm telling you, if it's Chiefs Chargers the first round, that's going to be that Monday night game.
Let's just get through week 17 first, Fernando.
I know, but it'd be fun. All right. Well, now let's just transition real quick to what is known as Day 1, which is a WWE pay-per-view. I'm just gonna go through these real quick, Gilbert. It'll be your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, facing off against.
Mentioned in a while.
I know. He's gonna be facing off against Brock Lesnar. It's so sad. He fired Paul Heyman the other day, and he gives him a hug, and he's like, "My wise man." He's like, "I love you." He's like, "I love you too, my tribal chief." You need to watch this clip. Paul Heyman is a genius, and now Paul Heyman's considering retirement, but I think he's gonna be with Brock Lesnar. I'll still say that this is the year of Roman Reigns, and Roman starts off 2022 the way he's ended 2020, or 2021, which is winning. So I'll go Roman Reigns. Now this match will interest you, Gilbert, because I know you like some of the names in here. Big E is the champion right now for Monday Night Raw. He's going to be facing Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley. How does that sound to you?
It's not a bad, and that's for the title on the line.
That's for the title. So there's been a lot, there's been a lot of kind of hoopla around this match just because there's so many names. Kevin Owens just re-signed with WWE. WWE, a lot of fans.
Where'd he go?
No, so he just re-signed.
Extension.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, he extended. My bad. So a lot of people thought he was going to go to AEW. He did not. He decided to stay with WWE. And then his best friend, Sami Zayn, he decided to re-up with WWE as well. So that was two big names that they kept within the business. So I want to say I think Big E's going to retain, but I wouldn't doubt Kevin Owens would win just because he just re-upped with WWE.
I promised him something.
Yeah, so I'm going to go on a limb and say Kevin Owens wins this championship match.
I agree with you too. He's one of those chubby guys that's very athletic. I actually like watching him wrestle.
Like me.
Haven't seen you wrestle yet.
Oh yeah, well you should. Raw Women's Championship. This one's fun, Gilbert. Becky Lynch, the man, big time Bex against Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's one of these female wrestlers that I've been pushing for. She's a superstar. I think she's on her way up. She was part of the Riot Squad when they first came in. Now Ruby Riot is at AEW. Sarah Logan, I think, just had a baby, so I don't think she's wrestling. But Liv Morgan's been touted as the one from that group to be that next big time wrestler. She's very good. You know who she looks like? Harley Quinn. So she's actually she's a really good wrestler. She's very talented. She's starting to get better on the mic. So I think this is going to be part of her ascension. I don't think she's going to win. I think big time Bex is going to retain. But I think Liv is on her way up. I wouldn't be surprised if Liv won the Women's Royal Rumble and she faced somebody at WrestleMania and won the championship. Liv is on her way up. She's really talented. So I'm gonna go Becky, but I think they'll be good. Real quick, SmackDown tag teams: the Usos versus the New Day. I think the New Day win those championships. I think it's gonna be that battle. When you get the Usos and the New Day together, it's fun. It's entertaining. People love it. I'm gonna go with the New Day to win those. And then last but not least, a blast from the past: Edge versus The Miz. How do you like that, Gilbert? That's a little bit of a throwback.
I actually just saw a clip that he ruined their wedding, I guess.
Yeah, there were Maurice and The Miz were gonna renew their vows, and obviously they weren't able to do that because Edge ruined it. So very disappointing. But I'm gonna go with the rated R superstar. I think and you know what's sad? The Miz takes so many losses that I'm kind of like, dude, this is so painful. Because he is so good, but he's so good that he doesn't need wins. Like, that's how good the guy is. And I think he's kind of, I'm not going to say he's like Undertaker status or Shawn Michaels, but he's at that level where he doesn't need the wins and the losses to stay relevant. No matter what, the Miz is relevant because the way he talks on the mic, man, I don't think there's a lot of wrestlers in the WWE that can hang with him on the mic. So I'm going to go with Edge winning just because I feel like WWE is going to try and put him again in the championship match coming up soon to get, obviously, fans are still waiting to see if he gets one more championship opportunity. But that's my spiel, Gilbert. Now let's go to your friend, Gilbert. Let's see what Dan and Dago has to say right now.
Again? Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Stooge. You're coming back to me. Let me tell you something. There's a few constants in this world. Death, taxes, and Dan and Dago. You cannot get rid of me, Gilberto! This freight train is all speed ahead. So get your ticket. It's about to get punched. Gilberto! The Compas have done it. I believe again. This one's going to hurt, but let's go Rams and let's go Titans. Feels strange to say, but the Chargers need them to lose those people. And go handle your business against the Broncos. But enough football. It's time to liven the mood and let's get random with Una Más. Let's see what Fernando has to show that robot, that stooge, Gilberto. It's time for Una Más.
Gilbert, good stuff from Dan and Dago. Obviously, now I got a little bit of a surprise for you. So you know how I like to have fun with these Una Más and everything? One of the movies that I feared when I was a kid was a Terminator, Gilbert. Why? Because I saw machines, and it's funny because that's the way Dan and Dago's a grandpa. He's like, these machines can listen. They know you. They're gonna take it. That's why he doesn't like my family wanted to buy an Alexa. He does not allow that in the house. He doesn't like any of these things. He's like, they learn about you. So obviously, like this video, I showed it to him, and he was like, you see what I'm trying to tell you? Oh, here we go. Watch this, Gilbert. It's a robot. It's a robot dribbling a basketball. It's a robot literally dribbling a basketball.
That's not impressive.
Are you kidding? The way they're making this sophisticated robot.
He's gonna shoot it and dunk, then yeah.
Oh, that's how it starts.
I'm not impressed.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. What else do I got?
Come on, step up your game.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's crazy. Like, see a robot dribble? Are you kidding?
That's really impressive. I don't know. Really?
All right, watch this. So this guy's like, he's running, like he's ice skating, and he dunks a basketball. Watch him. Ooh, boom, between the legs, Gilbert.
Now that's impressive.
That's pretty impressive,
In
huh?
the ice.
Huh?
Is he like sliding on the ice?
Yeah, no, he's ice skating.
Oh,
yeah, he's ice skating,
Wow.
and he made like a little bit of a ramp, and he goes off of it, and he like puts it between his leg, and he dunks.
And that's impressive. Well, there you go. The human race beating the robots right there.
This guy. All right, let me see. Let's see. I got something else for you. Let's see. Hey, that's why I try and do this, bro. I try and do this for you. I'll go this. So Peyton Manning was doing some like RV, like some VR thing, and watch him.
Huh?
What's up, man? I things out there.
Look at that dime that Peyton Manning. So Peyton Manning was doing a VR thing, right? First thing he does is he goes to the running back and tells him, "Watch the mic." So obviously Peyton Manning is doing this VR, and he's throwing dimes in this thing. Like,
pretty cool.
It's awesome. Look at him. Watch him. He goes to the running back and he checks to the running back telling him something. And then he's like, yeah, watch the blitzer on the edge. And then he grabs the football and he just stood up slinging it.
I've been wondering when games will eventually become this, where you're actually doing all the work.
And that's how it starts, Gilbert.
All right.
Look at that.
I'm impressed with that. That's pretty cool to see.
Would you do that?
Yeah. I'll probably won't throw it as nicely or deep as Peyton, but I'll throw in a little quick screen passes to the running back.
Gilbert, how good of a driver are you?
Driver?
Yeah.
I'm average. I'm not the craziest.
Can you parallel park?
Yeah, it depends, but sometimes it might take me a little while. You know, I'm not shooting 100%.
So look at this. Back in the 1933s, they were gonna have a fifth wheel on cars that would lower itself, and you could parallel park easier.
Yeah.
Back in look at this.
Look at this. Wow.
And you can get out of it. Look at that. And the caption says, "Why was this technology abandoned?" Look at that. You just pull the lever A fifth wheel comes out and rip. Can you
And
imagine?
it
If,
could be your spare wheel too. I wonder why we don't have
exactly.
that.
Can you imagine? Like people would. I mean, I can parallel park well and everything, but like for a lot of people that can't, like, can you look at that? You got to be impressed with that.
Yeah, okay. You started off kind of weak, but then you ended off pretty well. I like it.
Oh, who said we're done?
How many
I
videos
gotta-
you got?
Bro, I do this for you. Let's see.
I miss the days where we talked about movies. Now you're just making me watch boring videos.
Boring videos. Watch this. So this kid, I guess, was disrespectful to his family before Christmas, and he thought he was getting a PS5,
Wow.
and they just filled it up with bricks and made it seem like it was heavy.
How do you
This
even
is
get
what-
that box?
I don't know. I have a PS5 box, and Dan and Dago and I talked about doing that for little Daniel, like wrapping it, doing all this stuff, and giving it to him for Christmas, thinking that he got a PS5. But the little bastard was able to get a PS5 he found one on Walmart and he bought it, and I was like, dang it. I'm like, that would have been a funny prank to get him on. This last one, Gilbert, I think you're gonna enjoy.
Jesus, 7 videos.
No, you're gonna enjoy this one. You're gonna be like, okay, this one was actually pretty cool.
Got me tired. It's been an hour, friend. You know, I started falling asleep after an hour.
You're a dog guy, right, Gilbert?
Yes.
Watch this. Look at that. Watch this. Whoop!
Ooh.
Look at those hops.
All right, that's pretty
Watch
cool.
this guy. Look at this. Vroom. Like they're all laughing. So it's basically a dog like running, like Chico from I think it's Chico from next Friday, and like they're having him go out of the house and he's running. Look at, he just jumped over 2 people. Like they're having him jump,
A lot of
and like,
energy.
yeah, it's hilarious the way this dog's just jumping around. But it's so funny to see these people's reaction, and
Cute
he's
dog.
just running back and forth. This is after a couple of cervezas, though. Not for the dog, for the people. Look at that. He jumped 6 legs. Oh my God.
You're very fascinated by this, huh?
Well, I thought you would be too.
It's cool, you know. Takes me a while to get impressed, but I'm gonna challenge you for the next year. I need more avocado reviews from you. Like I feel like that's
All
why you're stalling with the video.
Oh, I started watching Gotham.
I've not.
You never watched it?
That.
I would recommend it. I'm only 4 episodes in, but it's very good. It was recommended to me by a friend, and she told me, she's like, dude, if you're excited for that new Batman coming out with Twilight Boy, what's the name?
Boy,
What's the name?
something Patterson.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson.
She's like, if you like, she's like, if you're excited for that movie, watch Gotham. It's on Netflix. I've started watching it, Gilbert. It's actually pretty good. It's about how Jim Gordon becomes Jim Gordon in Gotham City, how Batman slowly, like how all the bad guys turn into being bad guys and everything. So it's actually started off pretty interesting.
When does the Batman movie come out?
March.
Okay, I got time. All right.
So that's why I decided to start watching it now. But I'll have a avocado review probably by the middle of, if the Chargers don't make the playoffs, probably the middle of January. If the Chargers do make the playoffs, probably February.
All right, I need those to come back. I like those. And I just recently watched Don't Look Up.
I gave you one
Netflix.
last week. I did Spider-Man.
Actually, I watched Spider-Man, and it was okay. And I loved the whole Toby coming back, and I felt bad for Andrew Garfield, but it was cool.
Bro, if people haven't watched the movie,
Yeah, let's give it a week before we really break it down. I don't want to spoil it.
All right, well, we'll give people one more week, and then we'll both break it down.
Like, that's enough.
Yeah. So, Gilbert, two last things before we go.
Oh my!
One, will Phillip Rivers be in a Colts jersey?
I want to see it, so I'm gonna say yeah.
I'll say yeah, just for fun. Before we go, Gilbert, I just want to thank you so much. This year has been incredible. Doing this podcast with you has been, I never would have thought I'd have so much fun doing this. This has been so much fun. All the creative things we've done, the people that we've been able to get on here, it's been fantastic, incredible. Like, I'm just so impressed by the way we've both been able to kind of get people here and there. I mean, we've had Chad Johnson, We've had that one was fun. We've had Rashawn Slater. We've had Derwin James, Joey Bosa. Like we've Austin Eckler. We've had some really cool people, and not just by the team that we cover, but other athletes, other journalists, people that really are in our world, and the people that were around. But this has been so much fun. And I know we have the preview show coming out, but I want to do is here on the regular Compas on the Beat just to thank you, Gilbert, for taking a chance to really do this with me, because I know that like you're a guy that kind of keeps to yourself, but really doing this I think has been so much fun. I love it. I love you. I love that we did this. I love that we took a chance on each other and we did this this podcast, because this, man, 2021 has really rocked just because we've done this and we decided to take a chance on each other and do this together. So I'm honestly so happy, so blessed, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking a chance and doing this with me.
Getting emotional, man. You know, I'm not a person who likes to share feelings and talk about feelings, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words, and I'll say this: like we're different people, but obviously we get along in many ways, and we push each other in different ways. Like I have weaknesses, and you have certain things that you're not maybe good at, and we kind of bring out the best in each other, and we help each other improve. And I think that's why this podcast works, because you know, we blend kind of two different ideas. You share something, I share something. I don't have the energy that you have, and you notice that I don't, and you kind of try to help me out sometimes. And then sometimes you want to bring it, I'll try to bring it too. And then the guests, man, like yeah, like you just reminded me, we actually spoke to Chad Johnson. We've speaking to some great athletes, great reporters, people we just like to talk to. That's why the show's called Compas on the Beat. So yeah, man, it's wild to think that we've almost been a year. I think we started in March 2021, so not a year anniversary just yet. But you know, I appreciate people who do this for a living. It takes a lot of work. It's not just here talking in front of a mic. It's a lot of preparation, obviously effort, booking guests, thinking of questions to ask, make this show entertaining. And for the people who enjoy it, the full hour and 10 minutes, man, we appreciate you guys. And I know there's people out there they like watching the whole thing. And I see the tweets, man. I'm always making fun of Fernando. Like, man, people only want 50 minutes, an hour. And then I get a tweet about something that happened in an hour or 5. So I appreciate you guys watching the entire thing. And hopefully you guys enjoy the Chargers coverage, and also when we get random too. So Fernando, I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you provide for the podcast.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. And obviously special shout out to Dan and Dago, who's really added a little bit of juice to the show. So that's been awesome.
Mic for 2022. That's all I ask.
What'd you say? Oh yeah, we're gonna we're gonna get him a good microphone, obviously. But
he's screaming my name. I need some good quality on that name, you know.
There you go. Yeah, it's a special name, so obviously we need some of that. But definitely, guys, 2022 is going to be the year of the Compas. We're going to bring you guys so much more. We've learned so much in this year that we're excited about the future of Compas on the Beat. And thank you guys again so much for rocking with us in 2021. Obviously, without you guys, there's no us. So we thank you guys so much for listening every single week. There will be a preview show this week. Obviously, it's New Year's and everything, but we still will get a preview show to you guys this week. And thank you guys again so much for rocking with your compas. You guys are compas, and we appreciate it. But for now, Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? For the last time in 2021, vámonos.
Oh yeah, ya nos vamos. Feliz Año Nuevo, and I forgot to say Feliz Navidad in Español last week, or I think I did. But yeah, forget the late holidays. It's on to 2022. Ya nos vamos, because I forget what did I say. Ya nos vamos, pues vámonos. There we go. What a way to end the year.